Welcome to my clubhouse. My name is Sally Colón, and I am super excited for this next guest because I am obsessed with his brain, and you will be too. My next guest began his career at Walt Disney Studios. Who could say that as an animator? Not very many people, on movies like Hunchback of Notre Dame, Mulan, and Tarzan. Please help me welcome Saul Blinkoff.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm so happy that you say yes to every time.
I do, but I love that you're obsessed with my brain.
I am.
I hope my wife is watching this.
Marion, are you watching
I
right
want
now?
her to know that there's someone out there that's obsessed with what goes on in here.
Obsessed with your little noggin because you're so brilliant.
Thank you.
Really are. You're
Thank you.
brilliant.
Thank you.
And so the first question that I ask all of my people, and you've been on my show on Clubhouse twice.
That's right, yeah.
But who is Saul Blinkoff?
Who is Saul Blinkoff? Well, it's funny that you posed the question that way. Look, I work in Hollywood as a filmmaker, and one of the things that I spend years doing is figuring out who these characters are. I can't tell you how many years I've sat in boardrooms at Disney or DreamWorks or Netflix, and we write the name of a protagonist, the main character, we're trying to figure out who that is.
Right.
Well, you don't really know who someone is if you don't know what it is that they want, right? And actually at Disney, in Act 1 of every Disney movie, we called it the I Want song, right? A Little Mermaid sang about it. I want to be where the people are. Belle sang,
yes.
I want more than this provincial life. Lion King, I just can't wait to be king. So in order to know who someone is, you have to know what it is that they want.
So is that on purpose?
Oh, that's on purpose.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's amazing.
on purpose, yeah.
See, you heard it here first, y'all.
That's
you heard
how we
it
do
here
it.
first.
Right, so when you ask me, Saul, who are you? Well, the only way I can answer it is telling you what it is that I want.
What do you want?
So there you go.
Hey.
Put me on the spot. Well, it's really simple what I want. It's just very hard to attain. I want to live a life that is meaningful. So who is Saul Blinkoff? I'm someone that strives to make every day meaningful, every day matter, whether it's me being a father, a husband, a leader, a producer, a brother, a son, a friend. No matter any aspect of my life, I'm trying and striving to make an impact in someone else's life.
When you say meaningful, what does that mean to you?
Right. Well, a lot of things, I think if you ask people like 99% of the world, what do you want out of life? They're probably going to tell you, I want to be happy.
Right.
Everyone would tell you they want to be happy, but what makes you happy may not be what's good for you. It may not be meaningful. Like kids wake up, especially little ones, they go to Target, you take them down the princess aisle or the toy aisle, they just want, I want, that'll make me happy. So often in life, our emotions of happiness is based on outside things making us happy.
That's it.
Right?
You know what? Let me tell you something really quick.
Talk to me.
Not to interrupt
Let's
you,
do
but
this.
I'm
This
having
is
a
what
moment.
we do.
I'm having a moment, Saul.
Okay.
Okay, so the other day, I have 2 teenage daughters that I'm raising. The other day, yesterday actually, my daughter Bella goes, Mom, can you please take me? She loves to thrift shop. She will not go to a retail shop. She just won't. She loves to thrift shop. Mom, I'm really not doing well right now. Will you take me through a thrift shop? That will make me happy.
There you go.
And I could have a moment where I can go, well, why do you have to have something make you happy? Why can't you just be? I was like, let's go to the thrift store.
Right.
And she was so happy for like a day and a half.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But what made her more happy was the meaningful relationship she has with her mom. And her mom hears her and wants to help her in those moments.
Are we having a Barbara Walters
That's
moment?
what
Are you trying to make me cry right now? Stop it.
Right? That's what did it. But going back
is.
to that, we can't let outside experiences be the things that cause our emotions. We have to be in control of our emotions. And I firmly believe that sweeter than a life of happiness is going for a life of meaning. And life of meaning comes from only one thing. Not waking up with the perspective of what can I get?
Right.
But it's what can I give? I mean, Winston Churchill, my wife and I love this quote from him. He is the greatest
I
quotes.
love a good quote.
Right? Check this out. Winston Churchill. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Beautiful, right?
I love that.
And if we wake up with that goal, if I want to impact someone else, that's a meaningful life, in my humble opinion. That's what I'm striving for.
No, I
see that
agree.
in you, by the way.
Thank you.
I really do. You do. I mean, I told you, I've been on your Instagram, and I love watching your hip hop dance and all the stuff that you do. No, but you're so real. You do so much.
We should do a dance together while you're here.
Yeah, right? Okay. But it's true. And when you're just dancing, okay, you're happy. You're in your moment.
Yeah, I am.
But that feeling you have, it spreads to everyone who sees it, and you're making an impact. I love it.
You know, I get a lot of comments about my dancing.
Yeah?
I do. People are like, I love watching you dance.
It's
I love
real.
watching you dance. It is. It's real. And by the way, the dances are coming back. They are coming back. I had a little bit of a, I was down for the count for a little bit, but I'm back.
Right.
The doctor said starting September 2nd, I don't even know if I told you, Angie, that I am back and I can start dancing again and working out again and all that stuff.
Awesome.
So anyway.
I love the hip
back to
hop
you.
too, and the hip hop.
You like the hip hop stuff?
Hip hop music, yeah.
Can you do that thing again? Oh, I like that. Hey,
Do
let's
this
go,
one right
everybody.
here.
She's crying.
Watch this, right hand.
What?
Left hand.
Oh. I
There's
love
our
that.
move right there.
Hey, where's our audience? Thank you.
Choreography, that's not hard. We can do that.
It's not hard at all. All right, so I want to know how you got started because I love this story. I've heard it a couple times.
Yeah.
And I have listened to some of your other interviews, and you always tell this story, and I love it.
Oh, thank
how
you.
you got started as an animator. It's such a great. Angie, you're gonna love this story.
Okay, thank you. Well,
Love it.
look, I grew up in New York, and I love to draw. I mean, when I was 6 years old, that's all I did was draw on everything. I used to draw on the walls with my mother's lipstick, by the way.
Oh no!
Kids at home, do not try that, okay?
Not the lipstick.
Not the lipstick. And then I actually, I have a twin sister, and I used to draw on her forehead with
the
markers.
lipstick.
I did the Sharpie marker one time because
Not
it would
the
last
Sharpie.
long. Yeah. Yeah, and the greatest place your artwork can ever go, it's not the MoMA in New York, it's not the Met, it's Mom's fridge, right? So I said to my mom, you should put Rena, my sister, on the fridge with the rest of my artwork. My sister didn't like that idea.
She did.
But I knew that I was going to be an artist someday.
Yes.
And then I was 11 years old, and I saw a movie that changed my life. I saw the movie E.T. And when I saw that movie, I remember the credits were rolling. I'm 11, I'm sitting in theater. I tapped my mom, and I'm like, Mom, that's what I'm going to do someday. And my mom's like, what, you're going to leave planet Earth in a spaceship? And I'm like, no.
Yes.
I want to be a filmmaker. So that was it. I was going to be a director, a filmmaker. I went to the library. That's a building where you get information, kids. It's not the internet. My kids have never been, right?
So
I went to a building to get information, yeah.
Wait, before you go on to your story,
Yeah.
I want you to know that producer Angie is very good friends with the mom from E.T.
Oh, is that right?
I swear.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
Producer Angie? Dee
Yeah,
Wallace is
we're
one of
gonna
her
talk.
very close girlfriends for
That's
years.
crazy.
So anyway, moving on.
That's
But
crazy.
I thought that's a moment.
Wow,
That's a
that's a
moment.
connection.
Yeah, yeah.
So I see the movie, the credits are rolling. I go to the library. I get books on cameras, lenses, storyboarding. I found out that Steven Spielberg made movies every weekend. So I got my twin sister, my older brother,
yeah.
kids in the neighborhood, and I just started making movies.
Movies,
I was
yes.
going to be a director until I got into high school. Somebody came up to me in high school and said, what are you going to do when you get out of high school? I said, I'm going to be a filmmaker. They're like, no, you don't want to do that because Hollywood's filled with weirdos. You don't want to end up a weirdo, do you? And I said, no, I don't want to end up a weirdo. And I'm telling you, Sally, right then and there, I gave up on my dream because one person told me I would end up a weirdo.
Wow.
And,
Words.
And of course, today I do live in Hollywood. And my
Yeah.
4 kids would tell you their dad is a weirdo. So much for that.
I'm a weirdo.
Right. Weirdos
Angie's
are the
a
best
weirdo.
ones, right?
But what's wrong with weirdos?
Yeah, but I gave up. You said words, right?
Words.
Because it's true. People say words and they can change the trajectory of our goals and our dreams.
Absolutely.
So I gave up on that.
Yeah.
I'm like, forget that. I'm not going to be a filmmaker. My mom said, what are you going to do? I go, well, I'll go back to drawing. My parents got me an art teacher to come to the house.
Aww.
Incredible teacher.
I love that.
She taught me to draw from life. And she said to me, Saul, drawing is about seeing. It's not about copying. You have to see the world a certain way. What lens do we choose to see the world through? By the way, that goes for everything in life.
Right.
What lens do I choose to see the world through? And she could tell after I was drawing people all the time, I would never draw hands. And she goes, why are you not drawing hands? Did the people that you're drawing not have hands? I'm like, no, they had hands.
Right.
She goes, why aren't you drawing them?
Right.
I said, because it's hard. She goes, good. Here's your homework. Draw a hand from a different position every single night before you go to bed.
Wow.
And guess what? You'll get good at drawing hands.
Wow.
And she taught me one of the greatest tools of life. We often have to get out of our comfort zone with the goal of turning our weakness into our strength.
Wow.
Incredible teacher.
That right there,
like that's a tool.
mentorship, it's a tool.
Yeah.
When someone
Right.
comes into your life and does that to you,
Right.
and it changes your whole life.
Changes it all in a
Amazing.
second. She was amazing. So I was
Right.
going to be an artist, and I felt empowered.
Yeah.
Then I went to the movies, and I saw another movie that changes my life.
What?
I'll sing the song. See
Sing
if
it.
you know what movie it is. Ready?
Sing it.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's
It's
lake. You dream about going up. Don't help her out. She better know this.
Under the Sea.
There you go.
Under the Sea, Little Mermaid.
Little
yeah,
Mermaid,
right?
you got it.
Okay.
You're back in.
She helped me.
She helped you a little bit. You had it.
I cheated.
But you were dancing, so that was good. You were in it.
under the sea. I was waiting till you got to that part.
Right. Oh, I
right.
can't give you the easy
I
part.
know.
So I see The Little Mermaid. I tap my
wow.
mom and I'm like, Mom, that's what I want to do. She's like, what? You want to fall in love with the fish? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I want to be an animator at Disney. Because Sally, animation combined my two passions. My love of drawing,
Right.
my love of filmmaking, putting together
Yes.
animation. And plus I found that Disney has a studio in Orlando, Florida. I don't have to go out to Hollywood.
What?
So there I was, junior in high school.
Yes.
And I knew what my dream was. My dream was to become a Disney animator.
Amazing.
I just had one problem.
What?
I had no idea how to do it.
Right. Exactly.
So what I did have was the most supportive parents in history. And my mom took me, not my older brother, not my twin sister, took me to Disney World to walk me around Disney World, going to all the Disney cast members saying, how do you become a Disney animator? It was very
What?
embarrassing. We were getting on the It's a Small World boat ride, right? And we're getting, and the lady's like, how many in your party? We're like 2. My mom's like, by the way, my son wants to be a Disney animator. Can you help him? It's very embarrassing.
I love your mom.
She's good, right? And we
Yes.
found out that in order to work at Disney, you got to go to the Disney casting building. Went to the building,
Right.
had an interview.
She was all in.
Oh, she was
I love that she
all
was all in.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, Sally, I can't tell you how often I reflect on where I'm at and the people that got me there, and it all starts with her.
Domino
It was
effects.
really my parents.
Yeah.
And then hand off to my wife. Because my wife she's my rock. She's my vision now. She's the
Yeah.
one that supports me now. I mean,
Go Marion.
up here, yeah, go wife.
Marion.
She's amazing. But that's where I got my goal. And eventually, after I had that interview, I found out that Disney recruits their artists from different schools. I got a
Right.
list of those schools, and that's where I had the recipe. You know, so often I meet people in life and I'll ask them, what's your goal? What's your dream?
Yeah.
And the ones that are lucky enough to know, then I'll ask them, how will you achieve that?
Right. Exactly.
If you don't know how, it's not going to happen.
Because you knew, because people helped you along the way, so
Right.
now you're like paying it forward.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that about you.
So that's where I got my goal, and I set to become a
Wow.
Disney animator.
And
then,
now here you are.
boom, Pocahontas was the first movie I got to work on.
Pocahontas was your
Yeah.
first movie?
Yeah. Translation?
That's
I'm
amazing.
old. Translation?
You're not that old.
No, but that's...
Are you in your 50s?
Not yet.
You're not. Then you're not old.
Ask me in a month, and we'll be
Really?
there. Yeah, it's coming.
Oh
it's
my
coming.
God, the 50s.
But
Join the 50s.
Pocahontas is what we say in our house is BF, before Frozen.
Before Frozen.
Right?
Were you
That's-
part of? You weren't part of
No.
Frozen. No, okay.
No.
But you did not that.
Right.
It's bad. It's not bad
Right,
that you were.
right.
But you've been a part of Tarzan, Mulan,
Oh, yeah.
Hunchback of Notre Dame. You know, Pocahontas. What are some of the other?
Yeah, well,
animated-
I became a director. I started as an animator, and my goal was to be a director, which was
Yeah.
that original goal I had as a kid.
Right.
I directed a couple of movies at Disney, Winnie the Pooh, Kronk's New Groove.
Nice.
And then got into preschool television. I was a director on the show Doc McStuffins, if you know that
Yes,
show.
of course.
And just finished at DreamWorks, a show called Madagascar, A Little Wild, as a
Nice.
producer. But lots of projects along the way and lots of great people along the way,
Yeah.
and here trying to make a difference.
Well, listen, you are making a difference because
Thank you.
you're amazing,
Thank
because your
you.
brain is amazing.
Thank
Just
you.
that noggin, man, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
So I have a question. This is my own, and I think that many people that might be watching this that are in the field
Yeah.
might have this question. So obviously, when you're a director in a feature film,
Right.
not animation,
Live action.
No.
Right.
When you're directing, like when I was directing my documentary, I was directing people.
Right.
I was directing the cameras. But when you're director doing animated films,
Yeah.
it's very different.
It's different and it's the same.
Okay, tell me about
Here's
that.
where it's the same. It's the same because storytelling is storytelling, right? You either understand the structure of beginning, middle, end, act one,
Right.
act two, act three, or
Yeah.
you don't. And I've made my living as a commercial director where I have to tell a story in 30 seconds or in an 88-minute feature, live action shorts, and everything in between. Storytelling is storytelling. When you're looking at the script, whether it's animated or not, when you look at a movie like Finding Nemo, it's not a movie about fish. It's a movie about a father and a son repairing their relationship, by the way. It's not just like dad and son are swimming, dad notices son gets taken, and dad has to get him back.
Right.
No, do you remember what Nemo says to his father right before he's taken?
No.
He says 3 words.
What?
I hate you. Because it's about a relationship.
Wow.
It's not just physical. It's not, Lion King, which I think is still the best animated movie of all
Amazing.
time. It
So
still
good.
gets me choked up as a father, right? Remember who you are. Remember, right?
Yeah.
So powerful.
It's a great line.
But that movie wasn't the biggest animated movie of all time before Frozen because we love lions.
So everything's BF.
But that movie gives us a message. It's about a father and a son. It's about a legacy. It's about learning to take responsibility for the world. So as a filmmaker, whether you're doing live action with real people or animation, you got to understand story. The big difference is animators, we always say, are actors, but with pencils.
Okay, well, see, that's what I really wanted to know. So you're directing the actors that are doing the voices in the studio.
Exactly, and we always record the voices first.
Okay, so bookend. That's my thing, my bookend.
Yeah.
Instead of you're on set and the physical actors and they're doing the physical motion, you're directing their voices and how they're saying it, the inflection.
That's right. Yeah.
The studio. Okay.
Right, and you'll bring in a lot of big actors. I've worked with incredible James Woods and Mark Hamill, Tracy Ullman, Patrick Warburton.
Nice. Who was just on The Bachelorette.
There you go.
In the hometowns. If you guys are watching The Bachelorette right now. Are you watching The Bachelorette right now? You are? Yeah, he was on
He's
that.
amazing. You name it. Like
Kevin Hart?
Celebrities come in all the time.
Hart?
No, I was going to say David Spade.
David Spade I worked with. My very first movie, Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag.
Right, and you bring these actors in, and they come in their pajamas.
What? Because
it's animation.
I love
There's
that.
No camera.
I would be doing that.
I mean, I had people. I'm not going to mention their names because
No, mention their names.
But some of them come in and you see them dressed down. It's like crazy. But you record the voices first.
Yeah.
And you get that great performance, and then the voice goes to the animator. The animator sits at their desk, listens to that audio, listens to the nuance in their voice, and then has to act out the scenes.
Wow.
And at Disney, what we did is we all have mirrors on our desks because we have to see our facial expressions that you're putting in the characters. How do you know? If you're animating Olaf in Frozen and he has the line, well, some people are worth melting for, right? Or Tigger.
So you have a mirror, and you're saying that because you want to know what the expression needs to be when the actor comes in.
No. You got to see what the expression is when you act out the voice so that you can put it into your drawing. And by the way, what we do is we do video the actors so we can get their expressions. When you're watching movies like Aladdin and you see Robin Williams as the genie, you'll look at those expressions. We had hundreds of hours of video of Robin Williams. I didn't work on Aladdin, I got there after, but the animators had hundreds of hours of video of him doing those expressions so you could put that nuance into the character.
Okay, just a moment. Are you guys listening to this?
Right.
Is this so fascinating?
Check this out. Glenn Keane,
Yes.
the greatest Disney animator that ever lived. He animated The Beast and Beauty and the Beast. He would run through the studio with a cape just to see how a cape settles, right? And it's incredible. Ursula, Little Mermaid, you remember her?
Yes, of
She was animated by a 5-foot-tall Filipino man who's an introvert.
Wow.
But when Ruben Aquino starts acting with his pencil, when he's drawing, he comes alive, and he starts acting. I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. You remember?
Yeah.
It's incredible. So you get this alter ego that comes out from these animators, and as a director, I get to bring that out.
Yeah. So you could tell that you love what you do.
I do love what I do.
I mean, you're like glowing
I love
now,
it. I love it.
But also just even when you were, Angie, when he was talking about like the different characters, and it was almost like you were born to do this. Like God was like, Saul Blinkoff, animator, director.
I think I was born to tell stories.
Right.
That's what I love to do.
And you tell them so well.
Thank you.
You do. You tell them so well.
Thank you. Thank you.
We talked earlier. I was like, sound bites, Saul.
Right.
But he's not a sound bite guy.
My sound bites are 10 minutes long. That's a sound bite. What are you talking about?
He's not a sound bite guy.
I can go sound bite.
No, I don't want you to go sound bites. I like your answers, and I'm taking it all in. Are you guys taking it all in? They love it, all of it. Okay, are you guys taking it all in? What about my Instagrammers? I want to know about my Instagrammers. And by the way, if you have a question for Saul, and you just put it in the chat, and Angie will write it down. She's on it. No messing around. Okay. Now, have you ever wanted to do a voiceover for any of your animations?
I've done a couple.
Because you have a great voice.
Thank you. I've done a couple of things along the way. First of all, when I was directing a Winnie the Pooh movie, when we couldn't get the actors in, I would lay down the scratch vocals of those characters. So if it was Tigger, right? Or
Look at
Eeyore,
you.
thanks for noticing me. Or Piglet, oh, the deer. Or Rabbit, no, Pooh, do it like this. Actually, the first thing I ever did for voiceover was in the movie Mulan. You remember Mulan?
Of course.
This is back in the day.
Yes.
So the villain, Shan Yu, was voiced by Miguel Ferrara. And Miguel was in California. Mulan was animated entirely at our studio in Florida. They couldn't get Miguel in, so they had auditions in the studio. Hey, anybody want to do voices? So I auditioned, and I got cast as the temp voice of Shan Yu, the villain.
Oh, wow.
And it was a monumental moment for me because I come into the studio, and who's directing me? Tony and Barry, the directors of Mulan.
Wow.
And they're treating me just like I'm Miguel Ferrara or Eddie Murphy or any other actor they would bring in. And that experience, watching them, put that light switch off in my head of, that's what I want to do.
Wow.
I always say to my kids and remind myself in life, when you're given opportunities to do something, take that opportunity because you don't just go through the opportunity, you grow through the opportunity.
You grow through it. And listen, it's, soundbite. I say yes to most of everything. Angie will tell you. I say yes to mostly everything because I feel like every experience is going to open up another experience, right?
Yeah.
So all the people that are like, well, I don't really want to do that, or I don't really want to do that, I feel like they're missing out on the destiny.
You don't know what it could lead to.
You have no idea.
Right.
You have no idea. So I wanted to ask you.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to give you one taste of the voice from Shan Yu.
Yes, and then I have a question about that.
Okay, so here's one line I did. My kids, I do this before they go to bed at night. Actually, they don't like it when I do it in their ear. But they live with dad.
Did they ever like it when they were little?
They like some of them. They don't like this one.
Okay.
He had this deep voice, and one line he used to do was, a little girl will be missing her doll. We should return it to her. There you go.
That's really
That's
good.
for you, kids.
You're the voiceover guy for the trailers and the movies.
In a world
far
where
away.
one woman is making an impact.
I love it. Okay, so, and I don't know, Angie, this question I feel like everyone wants to know. Who comes up with the voices for the characters?
You mean the character, like who?
Who comes up with how?
What the personality is going to be of them? Like who they're going to be?
Do you let the actors decide that, or do you guys decide it?
Great question. If you're a good director,
yes,
you're going to come up with all of it yourself.
Really?
If you're a great director, you're going to collaborate with your team and allow that voice to find itself. That's what it means to work with an actor. You have to allow the actor a space to help create this character. But at the same time, they want vision. So it's a collaborative thing. It really does come. But you have to really know, like I said earlier, who the character is defined by what it is that they want.
Okay.
Right? That's how you know. If you look at maybe some of your favorite animated characters, think about Donkey in Shrek. Okay?
I love Shrek.
Just think about Shrek. You know, Mike Myers, right?
Yeah.
Originally, actually, Chris Farley was the voice of Shrek. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
He passed away in the middle of the
Right, and so who took
first
over?
year. So Mike Myers came over with the whole Scottish accent that he ended up doing. But it's not like you're just getting Mike Myers. You're not just getting Robin Williams for the genie. You got to find the character. By the way, did you ever hear of a movie Rock-a-Doodle? No. Probably not.
No.
Came out the same year as Aladdin. The main character was voiced by Robin Williams.
And nothing.
Nothing.
Why?
Because it's not just the actor that you get. It's finding that character.
Right.
It's not just Robin Williams was the genie.
And was it because people didn't resonate with the character?
Because you have to collaborate with your team to figure out who they were. And that movie, no offense to Rock-a-Doodle or anyone that worked on it, but the elevation of the story and the impact of the characters, it just wasn't at that level.
It just wasn't.
It just wasn't there.
So we're about 5 minutes. We're going to wind this down. And I want to find out, like, where you are now. Like, what are your latest projects?
Okay.
Like, what are you working on right now? What do you have coming up? Let the people know. Let the people know.
Thank you. Well, the things that occupy my time, number one is first being a father and a husband. That's absolutely my priority in life. And I'll tell you why. Not just so I can sit back in my life and say, hey, look, I have a wife. I have kids. Because the truth is, and I believe this firmly, if we're going to grow in life, then the best way to grow, the only way to grow is through those relationships that take the most work.
Wow. Ooh,
right? Easy
that's a soundbite.
Easy to be a nice guy when you're holding the door for someone who's coming in. There's no relationship.
Right.
Easy to be polite when you're in a restaurant and someone brings you, okay, that's one thing. But when you have to build a home together, when you have to build a relationship together, those are the relationships that take the most work. That's what I'm working on most, number one. Number two is
But wait, don't move on from
Let's go.
That was amazing. What did I tell you, Angie? I told Angie,
What
you're
did
going to
she
be
tell you?
blown away
Come
by
on.
this guy in his mind. That was so incredible what you just said. And I don't know if I've ever heard anyone say that. And I'm friends with some good people. The
Right.
Tim Stories
Tim
of the world,
Story.
the Jay Shetty's of the, you know what I mean? Like, there it is. Miracle mentality.
That's our boy. He's the man.
That's our boy.
He's the man.
But I've never heard anyone say that before.
Thank
And
you.
it's simple, but it's so deep.
Right.
And if we can all get that, right? The moms, the dads, the kids,
Right.
the best friends, the people that you actually have to give of yourself to.
That's right.
Like, how are you impacting those people in your inner circle?
Yeah. And those
That was-
relationships
oof.
take the most work.
Ugh,
And if we approach
yes.
those relationships,
And they impact you the most.
they impact you. They have the potential to, don't
Ooh.
they? But if we
And
approach,
positive and negative.
they could go either way.
Yeah.
Right? And they often do.
Right.
But if we have the goal, I really think there's only one goal in life.
Yeah.
And that is to grow as a human being.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
You know why I tell stories as a filmmaker? Because I grow through that process.
Right.
Like I said earlier, you don't go through things, you grow through
Grow
them.
through things.
Right?
Listen, I'm the same.
Yeah.
As a filmmaker, I grow through
Right.
every project that I
Right.
do.
I know
and
you
so
do.
I want to know what
Yeah.
you're working on now, because
Okay.
we're going to run out of
You got it.
time, and I want people
So-
to know what you're doing
so
right
here's what
now.
I'm
And how
doing
can
now.
we support you as well?
Thank you so much. Well, the main occupant of my time is I travel the world as an inspirational speaker, whether it's
Love
giving
that.
keynotes or talking
Yeah.
about marriage, relationships, company, culture, leadership. Those are the main things I'm focused
So
on.
that's number one.
That's number
Over
one.
you being a filmmaker.
They're both.
They're both in
Yeah,
conjunction with each
I just
other.
finished a project at DreamWorks, and now I just started on a Disney Plus. I'm doing a show. I can't mention the name yet.
Okay.
But I just started producing
Tell
on
me
a
later,
Disney
tell me
show. I'll
later.
tell you
Okay.
later. So that occupies my time, and then I have my podcast, Life of Awesome.
Awesome.
That's right.
Which
Life
we're
of
going to talk
Awesome.
about in part 2 of your show.
Okay, so
Yeah.
those are the big threes, right? So it's my speaking career, it's my animation career, which I love, and it's of course the podcast, Life of Awesome.
Life of Awesome.
And dad, and husband, and
You're
we got a puppy,
Aw, you just reset?
like pandemic puppy.
Okay, pandemic puppy.
Yeah.
So you glow, you shine, you sparkle.
Thank
I
you.
love your joy.
Thank you.
I do, and it's like I feel it. I feel it. It's like vibrating in the studio.
Thank
Do you
you.
guys feel that? And I love that you are in exactly what you want to be in. This is what living your dreams looks like as
Yeah.
I look at you.
Thank you.
And I see the joy in your eyes because you worked
you.
hard. I mean, the
did.
steps.
I
If
didn't
you-
do.
Listen, if you go back to all the steps that he took, the domino effects, the
Right.
mom, the lady that gave you the list that said
Right.
you got to go to one of these schools, and then just all of it, the journey.
Right. And I didn't
Right?
share this because it's a short venue right
Yeah.
now, but there's a lot of pain along the way. We all go through lots of pain. There's
Right.
a lot of struggle. There's a lot of failure.
Right.
I lost jobs along the way also. Life is ups and downs. But as human beings, we all have the potential, as Dory says in Finding Nemo,
Right.
just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. I love it. And I loved having you on the show.
Thank you, Sally.
And I know that you guys loved having him on the show. And that's why we are doing part 2
Oh, yeah.
of Saul Blinkoff. And in part 2, I want you guys to know so you can make sure that you watch it. We're going to get personal.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about that mind of yours that I'm obsessed with, because you guys are going to understand why I'm so obsessed with it. So stay tuned for part 2. But thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Saul,
Thanks for having
for
me.
being with us. I hope that you guys learned as much as I did. I am so enlightened. I feel like I've learned so much on this show. And so I thank you guys all for joining us right here on Welcome to My Clubhouse. We'll see you next time.